Hello and welcome to Watch Releases Recap for the week of February 7th until February the 14th. Let's begin with the new Bell & Ross Astro BR03 model. Bell & Ross is known for their aviation-themed watches, but why not go for something a little bit deeper, or I should say higher, by going all the way into the space and giving us a space-themed watch. I don't know why, I really like it. I think this is a unique looking watch. So the dial is made out of aventurine, which looks exactly like a starry sky. That makes a lot of sense. And then you have Earth in the center with three different bodies. The satellite is the running seconds hand, the Mars is the hours hand, and the Moon is the minutes hand. I think it's a little bit backwards. I probably would have done the Moon as the hours hand and the Mars as the minutes hand, but hey, I'm not working for Bell & Ross. The case is made out of black ceramic. It's a 41mm square case with about 11.5mm case height. This one features 100 meters of water resistance and is powered by the caliber BR327, which is essentially a modified Sellita SW300. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour and has 54 hours of power reserve. Now this watch will be a limited edition. It's limited to 999 pieces and it's priced at around 5,000 euro. The new Bremont Terra Nova Bronze Collection. The Bremont Terra Nova collection came out last year in a stainless steel cases. This year for 2025, we of course have these bronze cases and they're available in three different models. So first of all, you have this chronograph version that's 42mm in case diameter and it's almost 15mm in case height. It's made out of bronze and aluminum alloy and it features brushed and polished finishes. This one is powered by the caliber B50AV, which is essentially a Sellita SW510. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour and it has 56 hours of power reserve. And this model will be 6,850 euro on the bronze bracelet or about 6,400 euro on the strap. A couple of things that I noticed about this model. The case back is actually made out of bronze, and usually that's not a good idea because bronze case plus a bronze case back can fuse together, plus it will make your wrist a bit green if you wear it for a long time, especially if you go swimming with a watch like this. Also, the bronze bracelet is made out of bronze, of course, so that would also turn your wrist green, probably, unless they figured out some way to prevent that, because I reviewed a Zelos watch not too long ago, and what they have done on their bronze bracelet is actually have the underside of the bracelet be done in stainless steel to prevent it from turning your wrist green. So I wonder if wearing this watch would actually make your wrist green. Now this chronograph is not the only version of the watch available. We also have this date and time model. It comes in a 40.5mm case diameter. It's just over 11mm in case height, also made out of bronze, and this one is powered by the caliber B36AE, which is essentially a modified Sellita movement. It has 38 hours of power reserve and it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. I kind of like how this watch looks, although just like the other version, it still comes with that bronze case back, so I wonder if this one would also have that problem of turning your wrist green. As far as the pricing goes, this one is priced at 4,300 euro with the bronze bracelet or about 3,900 euro on the strap. And lastly, there's this field watch with the power reserve. So this one is 40.5mm in case diameter. It's about 11.9mm in case height. It features 100 meters of water resistance and it has the sub-seconds hand by the 9 o'clock position as well as the power reserve by the 6 o'clock position. And just like the previous version, this one has the date at the 3. I quite like how this one looks. I think it's very interesting. It also has the bi-directional bezel action. And this one is the compass bezel, which is kind of interesting. You don't see too many compass bezels nowadays. As far as the pricing for this one goes, it's a limited edition to 100 pieces. It's only available with the bronze bracelet and it's priced at 5,350 euro. So all three versions are quite expensive. Yes, they come in bronze cases, but over 5 grand. The chronograph is like almost 7 grand for essentially Sellita movements. Just a little bit too ambitious from Bremont, in my opinion. The new full platinum Omega Speedmaster caliber 321. This was part of what I call Omega's silent releases. There wasn't a huge press about it. It wasn't a big deal about this release. It was just kind of dropped on their website out of nowhere, and then news publications started to cover it as they figured out what has happened. So actually in 2019, Omega did introduce a Platinum 321 version, which was quite popular, and this new version from 2025 looks almost exactly the same as the one from 2019. It still comes in the same case diameter, 42mm asymmetrical case, so it looks exactly like a moon watch, like the stainless steel moon watch, I should say. It's not overly thick, 13.4mm in case height, including that domed sapphire crystal, and this one is a sapphire sandwich, and it's also about 47.6mm from one lug to another. So these watches wear exactly the same as the standard moon watch wears, except for they are way heavier. When you feel a platinum watch in your hands, you can tell that it's so heavy. You can tell instantly that it's not stainless steel, it's something completely different. Now, just like the name would suggest, this one is powered by the legendary caliber 321 movement. It's an in-house historic movement that beats at 18,000 vibrations per hour. It has 17 joules and about 55 hours of power reserve. This movement is very desirable for a lot of collectors because this is the very first movement in the moon watch. However, since then, the movements did improve, they got better, but a lot of collectors want what they can't have. And since this movement for the most part is discontinued, we want this movement in watches. The one thing that makes this release different from the one from 2019 is the fact that this one is also available with the full platinum bracelet. The other version was only available on the leather strap. And as you would imagine, this watch is very expensive. It's priced at 96,900 USD on the full platinum bracelet. I gotta applaud people that buy these type of watches because it looks exactly the same as the standard moon watch. I mean, other than slightly different subdials, everything else about the watch is exactly the same. So you pay almost $100,000 for a moon watch, and arguably less durable moon watch, because of course platinum is less durable than stainless steel. Just mind-boggling. The new Panerai Luminor Do reference PAM 01539. Did you know that Panerai actually has a dress model? That's right, this watch here is supposed to be a dress watch. It comes in the Luminor case. However, that case has been shrunken to sort of accommodate the more classical look and how you would wear a dress watch. So this watch comes in a stainless steel case, about 42mm diameter, 50mm lug-to-lug distance, and it's pretty thin, 10.7mm in case height. And even though this model features that famous locking system on the crown that is famous for providing crazy water resistance on Panerai watches, it's kind of their signature, this watch only comes with 50 meters of water resistance. For a dress watch, that's fine, but for a Panerai dress watch, I think that's kind of low because you can get watches with 100 meters of water resistance, 200 meters of water resistance, dress watches, I should say, from other brands. And Panerai's whole thing is kind of diver watches, so why not give this watch like crazy water resistance? That would make it different. 50 meters is kind of weak, although I should note the previous versions of this watch only had 30 meters of water resistance, so at least they bumped it up slightly. But nevertheless, since it features this fancy crown and it has a screw-down case back, why not bump it up to, let's say, 200 or 300 meters? That would make it kind of stand out from other dress watches. The other notable thing about this dial is the burgundy color. I quite like it. This is what, the third or fourth time we see a new watch released with this shade of burgundy color. It's more interesting than the standard blues and greens of the world. At least this is something unique. It still has the sub-seconds hand at the 9 o'clock position and a date at the 3 o'clock position. And this is quite an expensive watch, even though it's not a limited release. On a bracelet, it's 8,400 euro. And on a strap, it's 7,400 euro. The new Grand Seiko GS62 models. First, Grand Seiko introduced a couple of lady watches in this 62GS line of watches. I quite like them. They're in the smaller cases, 30mm diameter by about 11mm in case height. I really like the dials on these watches. They're inspired by those cherry blossom dials. And I'm also really glad that they didn't go with diamonds. I know that a lot of ladies complain about the fact that all the lady watches nowadays just feature a crazy amount of diamonds on the dial, as if that's all that ladies want. So these watches here are a little bit more restrained and a little bit more under the radar, which I do appreciate. Now, in terms of the pricing, they're about 7,000 euros, so not exactly cheap, but you know, that's what you expect from Grand Seiko lately. They did raise their prices quite a bit. But there's also a rose gold version made for man or maybe unisex model. So this one comes in a 38mm diameter, quite a bit larger. It's also on the thicker side, about 13mm in case height, and it's made out of 18 karat rose gold. It still features the Zaratsu polish, which is very impressive. It comes with 100 meters of water resistance. And this one is powered by the high beat caliber 9S85 automatic movement that beats at 36,000 vibrations per hour, and it has 55 hours of power reserve. I quite like how this watch looks. The dial looks very attractive, but it is not a cheap watch by any means. It's priced at 33,500 euro. The new Frederique Constant Worldtimer, manufactured by Watch Angels. The classic Worldtimer from Frederique Constant is a very handsome looking watch, but it comes in a slightly larger case, 42mm. This time Frederique Constant has partnered up with Watch Angels, who are a watch manufacturer that is sort of crowdfunded, and they created the smaller version of the Worldtimer. I quite like how it looks. The blue dial looks very attractive, although if I'm gonna be honest, I prefer the OG, the standard Worldtimer more. This one here just looks a bit cleaner, but they did lose the date wheel. And I think on the GMT model, date is very important. However, I understand what they're going for here. They want to give you a cleaner look. In terms of the dimensions, this one is about 40.5mm in diameter, and it's about 13.4mm in case height, which is actually thicker than the OG version by almost a millimeter, which is quite a bit. I don't understand why it had to be thicker, but it is. It comes in a stainless steel case with 50 meters of water resistance. And this one is powered by the in-house caliber FC718, which beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's a GMT movement, of course, with 38 hours of power reserve. This watch is limited to only 718 pieces, and it's priced at 4,500 euro. The new Makina Mephisto 3 GMT model. I wasn't familiar with this watch brand Makina, but apparently it's a micro brand out of Philippines, which is kind of unique. And this is a third edition of their GMT model with an integrated bracelet. The bracelet looks very Patek Philippe Nautilus inspired, but this H-link design is also very common on a lot of other watches in the industry. The case is made out of stainless steel. This one is around 38mm in diameter, 48mm like-to-like distance, and it's quite a thin watch at only 11.5mm in case height. Now, these integrated bracelet watches tend to wear larger, so I'm glad that they went with the 38mm diameter. It actually wears better on majority of the wrists. Now, undoubtedly, the star of the show is this dial. It features these geometric shapes and it has a lot of depth to it. It's a very futuristic looking dial. I quite like it. It looks very unique, especially from these wrist shots. So a big fan of this design. It's powered by the Miyota 9 series movement, 9075 to be exact. It comes with 42 hours of power reserve and it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. Now, just like the Frederique Constant, this watch doesn't have a date window. For that, I think it looks cleaner in terms of the dial design. However, GMT watch should feature a date window because it's one of the requirements for a GMT watch. So a bit of an oversight, but I think here they went with the style over function. In terms of the pricing and availability, so this one is not a limited edition. It's priced at 850 USD. And that's it for this week's watch releases. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what watches stood out to you. I always enjoy reading your comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.